Hey guys, so this is going to be video 1 out of 2 on our Norwegian Fjords cruise. And the first video has no Norwegian fjords in it at all. And the reason for that is because the dock that we had to leave out of for our Norwegian Fjords cruise was Southampton, England, which is close to London Central in England. And we figured, hey, if we're going to fly all the way over there to take this cruise, might as well spend a week in London. So our first video here is going to be recommendations, things that we did in London that we absolutely loved and had a great time and couldn't recommend more for you to do too. And the second one is maybe the stuff that we have no regrets. But if we could do it again, we would have changed these things. And the whole point of it is in case you're going to do, say, a cruise that leaves out of Southampton and you want to do the exact same thing that we did. Hey, if you're flying over to London, spend a week in London. So oddly enough, our cruising channel here, this video is going to be focusing on staying in London for a week. I hope it helps.
I'm Tom, she's Daniela. We're kind of empty nesters now, and we love cruising. So together we figure we're going to get in as many as we can while we can. And we're getting there. Let's kick it off with our first recommendation. Things we would absolutely do the same way again. The St. Giles Hotel. That's where we stayed. Small rooms. Very small, but affordable and in a great location. You are within walking distance to so many things. You're right next to the British Museum, Soho, and Covent Garden. And you're less than 15-minute walk from Leicester Square, Piccadilly Circus, Trafalgar Square, both the huge parks, Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, Big Ben, which, by the way, is the bell inside. It's not the tower. London Eye, Westminster Abbey, South Bank, and so much more. If it is your first time in London, I can't recommend enough that you get a hotel in central London. It's not easy to find an affordable one, but if you're only using it to sleep in and shower and then get out for the day like we did, who cares if you have a small room? The great location is massive, as you can just walk anywhere and have a great time. Next recommendation, getting around is super easy because London is mostly contactless for payment. You can tap your credit card everywhere, so I highly recommend you look into a credit card that is great for travel, that has favorable exchange rates, because some cards will kill you with exchange rates. To give you an idea how easy it is to get by with just a card, I didn't take out British money once. Not one time the whole week. Next recommendation is buying a combo hop-on, hop-off bus tour and river tour. You not only get to see these great sights easily, but you learn so much while you're at it. Just two examples here. The Great Fire of London that burned the entire city down in 1666 started in a bakery. When they rebuilt the city, they actually built a huge monument marking the spot where the bakery was. I found that kind of fascinating. And the Waterloo Bridge, we saw this one on our River Thames cruise, was the only bridge that was largely built by women because it was during the Second World War and most men were serving, so the women stepped up. Interesting to note that it is the only bridge in London that was built on time and under budget. Shocking. Another recommendation for a tourist highlight for us was the Tower Tour with an actual yeoman guard, sometimes known as beefeaters, and even they don't know why. And these guys are no joke. They have a rigorous testing routine to even become a yeoman, and they have to have pretty impeccable military backgrounds too. Ours was Gary, and he served decades in the Royal Military as a master sniper and several years as a police officer before becoming a yeoman, and he says it's the best job he's ever had. He was great, and it was a great tour. We spent so much time in the tower, and we're absolutely thrilled to have done so. Next recommendation, the parks. Oh, we were blown away by these parks. Hyde Park is where the Marble Arch is, and Kensington Palace. The Marble Arch was under construction, so we didn't get to see that, but we didn't care because the park was just awesome. Now, New York has Central Park, which is massive, but also quite busy with loads of pathways and landscaping. This is very different. The parks in London are absolutely massive too, but mostly just wide open space where everyone can just pick a spot and enjoy a nice break in the sun. It's quite fascinating to see how big this park was considering London's such a jammed-in city. It was really neat. And as you walk around, there are a smattering of statues and artwork. Oh, and hey, a royal palace here or there too. And there are two of these huge parks just side by side. And that leads into the next thing we loved about London and urge you to just check out and enjoy. The quality of life. I've been to a good bunch of big cities, and London has to be right up there with the best of them when it comes to not only being a huge city with lots of business and busy people, but also when it comes to adding in quality of life to go along with that, and that is huge. You don't recognize that until you get it. I remember living in Montreal and loving the difference there from Toronto, the last big city I had lived in. In Toronto, it could be 1 a.m, and you'd see a guy in a 3-piece suit looking exhausted on the subway. That was a common sight. In Montreal, the second it hits 5 p.m., everyone is out on a terrace enjoying a beer or wine and having a good time. London is like that in that you can't walk more than 5 minutes without seeing a great park, an awesome waterfront area where you can sit and have a pint in the sun, and the pubs too. That is such a big part of London's lifestyle. Daniella and I hit the local pub closest to our hotel pretty much every night while we were there. And I loved this pub, the Westminster Arms. I learned what a division bell is. I always thought it was just a Pink Floyd album. Any pub within a close distance of Parliament had to have a division bell in it. The purpose? It would ring to let members of Parliament know they had to leave the pub to go vote. I love that. So just go walking around and enjoy the place. We had a great time just walking along Oxford Street and seeing how much culture is put into the buildings alone. Most big cities have straight up rectangle skyscrapers over and over with the occasional unique building. There are a ton of unique architecture buildings in London to see just by walking around. Another cool recommendation, if you're a big Ted Lasso fan, you can take the train out to Richmond, where the show was mostly shot and centered around. We saw the cute little street where Ted and Coach Beard stayed. It's called Paved Court. And we booked a reservation to eat at the pub in the show. In real life, it's called the Prince's Head, and the food is actually pretty good. They got a little corner in there where they have a shrine to the show, too, and you can get official Ted Lasso gear from the Ted Lasso store there. I didn't see it anywhere else either, so that makes it pretty unique if you do go in there and get some. Besides the show being filmed there, Richmond is actually quite a lovely little place and worth the visit on its own, so we recommend that. And on that note, that's going to lead us into the things we wish we'd done differently and don't necessarily recommend. Now we start out the don't recommend list with Notting Hill. We thought it would be great to see where one of the greatest rom-coms of all time was shot and check out that area of London. So we took the tube to get to Notting Hill Gate, and then it's a pretty good walk from the tube station, sometimes uphill, to get into the parts you want to see. And that's when we realized we were part of the problem. Notting Hill was jammed with so many tourists. So we got our picture of the travel bookshop and the blue door, and then we got the heck out of there. This led to our next things we would have done differently. Don't over-plan. I'm very, very guilty of this. We jammed so many things into this week that we wanted to do, and we didn't realize how tiring that would be until we were exhausted. After Notting Hill, we saw that on the map we were close to the other side of Hyde Park, Kensington Gardens, where Kensington Palace is. So we figured, hey, why not just walk back? We'll take our time. It's only 2 tube stops away anyway, and we can walk through the park, see the palace, and then walk back to our place to freshen up. Well, we did see a lot, but we paid for it. I measured it out afterwards, and that one trip alone, we walked about 15 kilometers, or just over 9 miles. So while you can walk everywhere in central London, don't schedule a million things in your 1 week. Instead, plan on coming back sometimes and take care of the other things then. Another one that surprised me was don't plan around food. That is something I do. When I'm going to a new place, I like to look up the "you have to eat here" videos to see what makes me drool. We booked reservations at a handful of places, and I must say, most of them left us a bit underwhelmed. I booked us lunch at Rock and Soul Place, the oldest fish and chips place in London, because fish and chips in London, right? And why not go to a notable one? Then I realized after eating it, it was good, but you can't really mess up fish and chips. You also can't really make it stand out way above any other fish and chips from any other place. Out of all the food we ate, easily the best food we had was when we were just walking around and ran into a great food market like the one at Seven Dials Market. It was great. Or when we walked by Dishoom and decided, hey, And there's supposed to be really good Indian food here, and boy, Dishoom was so good. That was easily the best meal we had in London, by far. So if I could do it again, just to summarize, I would book no reservations and just find a place that looked good whenever we were walking around and hungry. That would have been much better, and it frees up your time. Now, speaking of markets, Borough Market. Wow, does it look great in videos, but it was Notting Hill times 10 when it comes to being crowded. Maybe we went there at a bad time, I don't know, but it was the middle of the week, not a weekend, and it was jammed with people like a busy subway in a major city at rush hour. I hated that. I hate big crowds, and I was also hangry, so that did not go well. The last kind of negative note I'll leave you with is one you can't do anything about, but you can at least prepare yourself for it, so I thought I should help you out there. It is an expensive city. Be prepared for sticker shock when you get back home and see the statements. We were especially shocked because we went at a time when the pound was going okay as a currency and the Canadian dollar wasn't going so well. So as such, every single time we took the tube, even for just a couple of spots, it was over $10 Canadian just to ride the little subway for a couple of stops. And the odd time we went to Starbucks, it was more than $20 Canadian for 2 drinks. Yow! But hey, it's your vacation. You don't nickel and dime your vacation. Enjoy it. We certainly did. I don't regret any of these things, but I do think I could have done them a little bit better, and I hope we can help you out with your big trip to London before you take that Norwegian Fjords cruise. That's the next video. See you soon.